Welcome to Collections of Cinema.
Hello, everybody. We just talked for like 5 minutes without recording this bit, and I'm stupid.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, let's start over.
So, hello
Hello,
and welcome
everybody.
back.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Collections of Cinema with me, your main host, Danny, and Voify, the co-host to the host.
Right.
Voify.
Quick side note. I made a YouTube video. You can find it when you Google or when you search my name on YouTube, Wolfgang Kern. And you can watch the story how we met with Danielle's cameo in it.
Yep.
Just so you know. On other note, if you want to support us, head over to our Patreon page. That's the best thing you can do. Joe is the only still current Patreon member, which is kind of sad. We want to add some Patreon members if you want to support us.
You get cool stuff.
Right. You can also just like and subscribe on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify, or all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Leave a comment wherever you leave a comment, and also please review the podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify.
And also, please reach out to us. Let us know if there's something that, like, not only like a movie that maybe you'd be interested in us doing, or just feedback if there is something you feel like would make it more interesting, more fun to listen to, something that we do that annoys you.
It for sure would make it more interesting if I would press record button and actually record what we're saying.
Yeah, right. But you're actually recording this time.
I'm recording now.
Good.
Okay. We're talking about the movie Strange Darling.
Yep.
From
last year.
By JT Mollner.
Mm-hmm.
He only directed another movie in 2016, a Western called Outlaws and Angels, and a bunch of short movies. But he's an up-and-coming director and writer and producer. And Strange Darling was his second movie with a budget of 4 to 10 million. It's weird that they didn't specify it, but 4 to 10 million, and it grossed 3.8 million. So, didn't even make back the budget.
That's sad. It's so brilliant.
Yeah, because it's a small movie. It was marketed, unfortunately, very small, and they didn't put a lot of money into the marketing, and also only had a limited theatrical release. But the movie was very liked by critics and also fans, and I feel like it's going to be a great hit on home cinema for sure. But also something that we have to add, the movie shot on 35 millimeter, and the movie tells you in the first few seconds of it, and it's kind of weird in my opinion, but
I don't think so. I think it's whatever.
Yeah. And Giovanni Ribisi, that's actually interesting. Giovanni Ribisi, an actor, producer, shot the movie. Like, he actually
it's his first
did the cinematography in the movie, and it's fucking nuts because
it's so good.
The movie's beautifully shot.
Yeah.
They have some really great scenes. The ending alone is fucking brilliant, and it's very interesting to see him doing that now, because I'm very excited to see his next project as a cinematographer.
I mean, I'm always excited. I think he's a brilliant actor. I'm always excited when he's in something.
Yeah.
And seeing that he was the cinematographer on this, and it's his first time as a cinematographer. I mean, that's
he donated his
incredible.
own camera to the movie, or he used his own camera for the movie, which suggests already that obviously he has knowledge of film and how to shoot on film and how to use a camera. So he probably did lots of stuff before, maybe short films or whatever, or his own stuff. But yeah, it's pretty impressive. Let's go into the story.
But disclaimer for new people, or just as a reminder for everyone else, we spoil things. So this is not like we're going to just talk about the plot without giving anything away. And this is a movie you do not want to be spoiled. So it really is. So it completely takes away from the experience.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so, but
because it takes a while. It's a slow burn to that point.
It is a slow burn.
There are hints at it, but it's a slow burn. So
it's cool if you don't know.
It's cool if you don't know. So if you haven't seen it yet and you're interested in watching it, maybe stop listening and then come back when you've watched it.
Yeah. But please really come back.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay. So, first of all, it starts out with, the opening shot is like this woman kind of in slow motion running away from something, but running towards the camera. And, while all the opening credits are going over. And so it introduces I don't know her name, something Fitzgerald, something.
Willa
Fitzgerald
as the lady.
And then the guy
Kyle Gallner as the demon.
So you're automatically in the mindset of, okay, you know who these characters are. She's running away from this man. Yeah. And we kind of then see like different shots of like her and different shots of the man. And then it starts with like, it's in chapters, but they're out of order, which is such a cool idea because you slowly piece together the story in the wrong order. Yeah. And because they do it in the wrong order, it really kind of fucks with your head. Like, okay, what's actually happening and who's the bad guy and who's, it really fucks with your head a little bit.
It's really cool because it plays with certain expectations of that genre and does it very well. Funny side note, JT Mollner did not have a final cut on the movie, but he still cut his own edit and then showed it to a test audience, and they really liked it. But the studio secretly hired another editor and cut the movie in sequential order.
What?
Yeah. And there was a fallout between the producer and Mollner.
Why would they do that?
Yeah.
It completely destroys it.
And Tiffany Haddish, funny enough, an acquaintance of Mollner, viewed an early cut of his version and also argued that Block, that's the CEO of Miramax, and the producer accept Mollner's version. Yeah. And in his contract, at least he had a grant for a test screening of his cut. So that was good because following a highly successful audience response, Block ultimately granted Mollner the final cut and later apologized even to Mollner for the difficult production, which is actually really cool.
Good. Yeah. If that were it, if you watched it in sequential order, it would be not nearly as effective and not nearly as exciting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you might as well just spoil it now because it makes it easier to talk about it. What you think in the beginning is that the guy is the bad guy, right? And that he's somehow captured this woman and it's not the first time that he's done this to somebody and he's trying to kill her. Yeah. What you find out is that he's actually a cop and a really nice guy who just had a night with a woman that he met at probably a party or a club or a bar or something. And they were going to have this one night stand essentially. And he kind of fell in love with her a little bit because she's so different.
Yeah, he likes her a lot, but
it turns out that she's
it starts off slow where she just asks him to do certain things and it's super weird, and again it's shot in a way or it's cut in a way where you don't know, you question a lot of things at first
because she gets off on
sadomasochistic
being tied up or being bound somehow and then acting as if this guy's a killer. Like she wanted him to act as if he was gonna kill her and like he turns on her all of a sudden from nice guy to and the way that it's organized is that those are the scenes you see first of him doing those things without knowing that she asked him to do it, and so you're like, fuck, this guy's like bad news. And slowly you start to you go back in time and you start to see how they met, or you start to see the conversations or the in between where she stops him in the middle and they're laughing about it. It's like this whole thing.
So she basically drugs him then with ketamine, and the whole thing escalates basically. And he's able to shoot her before she kills him, and she runs off, and then the mouse and cat hunt begins. It's the thing is, the movie itself, the story itself, is not that deep or surprising or that special.
Original in that sense. It's a story people have heard before. The way
it's told, the way it's shown, the sequences, and also with the cinematography and the very interesting dynamic.
And with the whole confusion of you think it's this person for probably a solid half of the movie, and then you slowly start to question a little bit.
Yeah. Makes it super interesting.
And then all of a sudden you're like, fuck. It's so good.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. And for that alone, it's very if you like movies like that, it's
pretty
96
brutal.
minutes, really fun time. And it's brutal at times.
It's brutal, yeah. And there are also times where it can feel kind of triggering, I think. I mean, sure, if you don't scenes. Know, I feel like once you know what's going on, then looking back, if I were to watch it again, I wouldn't feel as uncomfortable watching certain scenes because you know what's happening. But At first, when I was watching, I'm like, I don't know if I can watch this because it was a little intense there for a little bit. But yeah, really, really well done and very well acted. I mean, and essentially, it's just the two of them. There are some little, just the two of cameo them, people once in a while, and like really minor characters that add to the story. But for the most part, it's just the two of them. And like you said, like this cat and mouse thing, and it's really well done. Yeah, really fun movie.
And
the ending is so cool.
Yeah, the ending is really cool. I don't know what else to talk about the movie. It's not that there's not that much to talk about. I mean, the cinematography for sure, like the shooting on location, shooting on film, just makes it seem like The Hitcher, for example, from the 70s or 80s, I think. It seems like the whole movie seems like it comes from a different time. Like you could even say 90s, kind of like with Reservoir Dogs a little bit in comparison, just because of the out of sequence or sequential order. Obviously, you can't compare those two movies. And the story itself, again, is not that deep, but I feel like the performances are fucking great. Some of the shots are fucking amazing. I really, really liked that movie. I watched it last year when it came out, and I just basically 2-3 days ago got the 4K Blu-ray. And yeah, it's a fucking awesome movie with some really, really cool imagery, great performances, and it's one of those smaller movies that kind of stand out a lot, like from the typical Hollywood stuff that you get. It's different because it's different edited. It just presents itself in a very different light, and just, I don't know, feels very fresh in that genre, in this very oversaturated genre already, where the final girl or the killer hunts the woman in the woods and all that stuff. There has been thousands of movies in that genre already, so
it's kind of cool to see a woman in the role. I mean, cool is maybe the wrong word, but it's still cool to see a woman in that role.
It is cool.
It's unexpected because that doesn't happen that often, where it's the woman who's really, the crazy serial killer.
For sure. So yeah, I really like it, and I highly can recommend it if you're up for movies like that. It's obviously not an easy watch for certain reasons. It's brutal. But the one thing I really like also is that you don't really know where it goes. You know the genre, and since it's not sequential, you, in the middle, I would say like 30-40 minutes in, you already kind of know that she's the bad guy.
Yeah.
But you still don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about the movie. It keeps you guessing until the end, kind of. And
yeah, because there was honestly a point, because you still didn't know, before you knew that he shot her, because she, and you, I think at that point you already knew that she was
up to no good.
The killer.
I think so, yeah.
Because because she killed the woman in the house, and you're like, oh, okay.
Like that was the first scene that gives it away.
So, I mean, because we knew that she was already at that point, but we didn't know that she was actually going to try to kill him yet. We thought maybe he was an exception, sort of. And, but at that point, she like kills this woman in the house, and you're like, fuck, okay. So for me, I thought for a solid chunk of time, until it became obvious, that this was still part of the game.
Yeah.
That, him chasing her was fun. Yeah. And it was for her like a turn on, and he just kind of like played along. And so that's kind of what I thought was happening, until then you see how she got the head wound, which was from him, and because of she was trying to kill him. Yeah. But yeah, kind of cool. There's not that much trivia, but I have a couple things to go along with what you said about Miramax trying to change it.
Yeah.
Or take it away from him. Someone, at least this thing says, so their cut of the film was under 70 minutes long.
Under? Mm-hmm. Okay, wow.
And was edited in chronological order. And one of the reasons, at least it says here, one of the reasons that they decided to switch to actually take his cut was because during the test screening, an audience member shouted, "This bitch is crazy!" And the enthusiastic response to the rest of the crowd led them to change course. That's what this says. Okay. So maybe that's part of it.
That's interesting. I have something else for the notion that it might be based on real life events.
Okay, yeah.
But the director has said that he confirmed nor denied that the film is based on real events, saying perhaps it is. However, at the end of the credits, there is the standard text, the characters and events depicted in this photography, photoplay of fixtures, any similarity to actual persons living or dead is pure coincidental.
Okay.
So even with the...
I assume the story is probably based on something.
On some things, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's the same with The Strangers. There are certain criminal cases that had never really been solved, or there was this one female killer once that, so I assume that he maybe listened to podcast or read something, and that was his inspiration for the screenplay.
But this is kind of fun. So towards the end of the film, a character references the real life convicted murderer Gary Gilmore. That actually is a real person. Cinematographer Giovanni Ribisi portrayed Gilmore's brother in the film Shot in the Heart, which is also kind of fun.
Oh, that's interesting. And he also was in the movie as on the phone. He was a voice on the phone. He had a little cameo. Yeah.
Black phone?
No. On this, in Strange Darling. Like when he made a phone call at some point, Giovanni Ribisi was on the phone.
To the cop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. You can basically find it everywhere on VOD. Since last year, you can find it on Blu-ray. It's not on 4K in the US, which is weird. I mean, technically, 35 millimeter is under 4K, so they upscaled the movie for the 4K release, but still the detail and the colors, like HDR alone, I feel like for the HDR alone it's worth it, because the shots are so beautiful and most of it is during the day.
Yep.
So for the HDR alone, I would highly recommend the 4K version of the movie.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's at night is when they're in the car, right?
Yep.
Yep. Great movie.
Yep. Okay, let's go to movie of the week.
Movie of the week.
Okay. We watched The Rule of Jenny Penn, The Grifters, and Dallas Buyers Club. And I would say Dallas Buyers Club.
I would as well. Although I really liked The Rule of Jenny Penn.
Was fun, yeah.
That's actually a hard choice for me between the two, but I
like Dallas Buyers Club too much.
Yeah, it's really good.
Great movie from 2013. Jean-Marc Vallée directed it. Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto won an Oscar for the movie, Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor. Jennifer Garner is in it, and Steve Zahn, and lots of other really good actors. And it's a real story about, or loosely based true life story of Ron Woodruff, who contracted AIDS or HIV, and was given 30 days to live, but he turned 30 days to 2000 something, and he started this movement to advocate for treatments for cancer for HIV patients. It's a very inspiring story.
He didn't start it though, because the Buyers Clubs were already a thing, and he knew the idea,
but he pushed it.
He pushed it
to a degree. Yeah. No, sure, they were still a thing.
Yeah.
But it's a great movie. I feel like one of Matthew McConaughey's greatest performances.
It's phenomenal.
He's so fucking good in it.
Yeah.
Opposite everybody else, like Jared Leto. I'm
Jared
not
Leto
a
was
huge
also amazing.
Jared Leto fan, but he's so fucking good in that movie.
Although, granted, if the movie was made today, obviously it would be preferred that an actual trans person played the role.
Yeah.
And I wish that still would have been the case, honestly. Yeah. But nonetheless, I think he did a brilliant job. He was really, really good in the role, and seemingly played it, very respectfully and very, not like trying to be over the top or, stereotypical or anything. He just was. He did a really good job.
He clearly did a lot of research. You can see that in his role, because he portrays it very, very realistically and
very authentic.
Authentic, yeah, that's the word. Dallas Buyers Club. If you have not seen it, check it out. It's a great movie. And I feel like very relevant story about drugs and the FDA. No, not FDA. FDA. Yeah, Food and Drug Administration, and just how
they're only out for money.
how profit is put above
the whole. They made a point in the movie. The reason that the FDA exists is to help people, and they're doing the exact opposite. They're helping themselves.
Yeah,
and
it's all about money.
It's very, very relevant still. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have some funny Letterboxd reviews for Strange Story?
I didn't look yet, so you go ahead and start.
I do have one. Never have I felt more disgusted watching a movie than watching that breakfast montage. 4 stars. Just a little side note. There is the breakfast montage starts with 2 like doomsday preppers in this cabin, and he just throws this massive stick of butter into the pan and fries gross. 2 eggs in it, and it's just outrageous. Like, why use that fucking massive stick of butter? Yeah.
Okay, mine's not working, so it's on you.
I mean,
for some reason, it's not letting me.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that ending, someone like that ending with exclamation mark. Yeah, the ending is fucking insane. I like this one too. I mean, this was like a half star, like, fuck you. Oh my God, you shot an entirely film on 35 millimeter. Should we tell everyone? Should we throw a party? Should we invite Quentin Tarantino? Very passive aggressive.
That is super passive aggressive.
And 1.5 stars. Like, have you even watched the movie?
Probably not.
Yeah, but someone else also wrote, shooting a movie on 35 millimeter is cool. Announcing that you shot it on 35 millimeter in an opening title card is deeply uncool. And I kind of agree. It's so unnecessary. Like, why?
Yeah.
You could then just put in shot on a camera. You know, it's like, why? It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I see it from both sides. Like, it on the one side, it does feel kind of pretentious and kind of like, ooh, look what we did. But I don't think that was the intention.
No, it was not the intention.
I think it was more of like, just so you know, this was, it was shot differently. They wanted people to know that it was shot differently.
But people who
I don't think there's anything
are cinephiles understand, and they probably know beforehand before watching the movie because they read about it.
Is that what it's called? A cinephile?
Yeah, cinephile. So people who are enthusiastic about that stuff, they already knew anyways. Yeah. And people who don't give a shit about it because they just go to the cinema to be entertained, don't give a shit about it. Yeah. They don't even recognize the difference. And so many movies are doing that now. Like The Brutalist, one of the biggest movies last year, was shot on 35 millimeter, and they didn't announce it. They didn't have to announce it, and there was no reason to announce it. So if there would be no movie shot on 35 millimeters right now, and this one is like one of the only ones, then okay, sure, announce it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sinners was shot on 35 millimeters. The new vampire movie that's coming out literally this week. So when we release this episode, it's out already. Now you know. That's it, everybody. Yeah. Again, please, if you want to support us, head over to our Patreon. That helps us a lot. Subscribe everywhere you can subscribe. Please just subscribe on our YouTube, even though maybe you don't watch or listen on YouTube, but it helps the algorithm maybe to get more people discover us. Yep. That's it.
That's it.
Bye.
Goodbye.